I'm finished! When I first followed this project, it was just gonna be a quick, cheap thing with a voiceover and a lot of images, and it turned out to be a bit more than that. We'll see. Please enjoy, because this took a bit more than I was planning for.
It has been a long time. The saga of new beginnings has ended, but you may wonder why that is, and what has happened to everyone. Here's the story of the last moments on New Beginnings.
Hive Allium in happy place. Allium need offspring Hive Poppy very help. Hive Poppy find Hive Allium new friend. Allium friend is ally. Allium friend ally is good ally. Allium have all Allium's Allium require. Allium is happy. Then Allium not happy. Sudden Allium survive act weird. Personality survive unable to understand. Hive Allium worry. Hive Poppy explains strange airship outside. Warns of danger. That Hive Allium must evacuate. Allium no want danger. Allium conflicted about danger. About violence. Allium created life. Allium worry. Allium no can evacuate. Allium Hive too big for airship. Friend Peabod Crow and friend offspring Hive Poppy must go. Must save themselves. Hive Allium prefers to defend self. Yet no danger appear. Hive Allium is suddenly confused. Allium sudden banging floatship. But floatship was wrecked. But floatship was not wrecked. Hive Allium develops the paradox Hive to resolve conundrum. To this day, Hive Allium no answer found. The Archmage was starting to feel like himself again. He was building roads, setting up a town. He was making videos of himself again. But the Archmage was worried. The clone who had been making videos in his place was not alone. A mechanical being started broadcasting as well. It called itself Hive Poppy. The Archmage was miffed. This was not a clone of his. He managed to stop this broadcast, but that only made it even more urgent to find answers from his clone. But the clone is silent, or rather mute. Some kind of creature calling itself a tooth fairy is possessing his clone. After consulting his library, the Archmage had learned a few crucial details about this creature. The theory that there might be a cure in the mangrove swamp may have some merit. The Archmage gave Herbalist Crow the task of healing his clone. As hard as it was to admit, Crow had long since passed him in the medical field of the herbalist arts. The Archmage was pacing in his office when Herbalist Crow ran into his office with the bad news. Evacuate? As the words left his mouth, the Archmage knew this meant the end of the herbalist faction. The tree was the last and final thing that held the few survivors together. Later, as he witnessed the ashes fall, and all hope was lost, a strange voice spoke to him. A new adventure was waiting for the fallen Archmage. His story was not yet over. Defective KvaGram was not defective, or was he? Locked in his own mind, while something controlled his body. He had felt like this before. Brief moments, ever since he had arrived at New Beginnings. But this was different. He has a vague idea where he is. The moments are brief, but sometimes he catches a glimmer of sight from his eyes. He is inside Oklahoma, the magical tree-shaped academy of the herbalist arts. Is he back in Tenebrae? If so, how? How could that be? Did he enroll without knowing it? Was the Archmage teaching him to be an Archmage like himself? Now that would be funny. Being controlled like this is frustrating. It is only something a defective being could possibly suffer. Maybe this means that he... Wait, he can suddenly see. A face he cannot quite place looks back at him. Suddenly, something nabs at him from behind. He cannot see what it is. Suddenly flies backwards out of a broken window. Climbing onto whatever nabbed him, he soon finds himself clinging onto something solid, hard, cold, and yet familiar. He hears shouting. But despite everything going on, Defective KvaGram just feels tired. Soon enough, he falls asleep. When he comes to, Defective KvaGram comes face to face with a familiar face. A duck face. his friend Prince, no, Chief Coppercrack. The defective clone does not know where he is. The place is all foreign, yet his friend is there, and so it's all good. It is time to start over, once again.
Power! Freedom! Glory! The Tooth Fairy had never before tasted such power like this. It is huge, powerful, it is glorious. Granted, taking hold of this particular body was not the optimal outcome. It was, however, acceptable. No fool could possibly keep a whole tree imprisoned. The Tooth Fairy no longer had something as pathetic as eyes, like the ignorant fool it had been up to recently. It now had the magical awareness of everything around it. But why was every one of these foolish fools down there moving around so idiotically fast? But it matters not what these fools do, and so the Tooth Fairy thinks, nor how fast they run. Let those little fools run in fear. They are now beneath the attention of the great and powerful Tooth Fairy. Moving a root to take a step, and then another, the mighty Tooth Fairy now proves its most powerful creature in the realm. No one can stop a massive tree. Now no one stands in the way of the Tooth Fairy. To think it was believed, it needed the powers of the fool intelligence ostrich. No! It can see the truth now. Conquering the pathetic mind of a small creature like ostrich would not have been enough. It needed a magical being to conquer other worlds. If it had embodied that foolish fool of an intelligence, it might have been stuck in this realm alone. Yes, he can feel it now. The otherworldly energy. There is a rift nearby.
Those fools, the fools of the thinking they're seeing the truth threatening me now.
Those ignorant fools know nothing. Once the great Emperor Tooth Fairy taps into the energy of the rift, it will soon rule all of the mighty vast multiverse. In just a few quick steps, the Tooth Fairy easily crosses the pathetic moat and reaches the side of the rift. One of the pathetic tiny creatures from down there seems to be approaching. Bah! This is beneath his worry. With his incredible speed and agility, no one can stop the incredibly invincible, invulnerable Grand Emperor Tooth Fairy Supreme! But then, as the branch reached up to tap into the power of the rift, a sudden pain hit the great fairy. He could no longer see. The magic was faltering. He could no longer sense the rift. Waving that branch, it tried to hit it, but it could sense nothing but pain. The pain of fire. This cannot be. A pathetic fire cannot be the end of the Grand Tooth Fairy. No, it refuses. It resists the known power. It will live on. It will live forever.
Tim was once again sitting on his usual place, on Hive's branch on top of Oklahoma tree, his homework neglected once again. He would catch up on it later. To Tim, drawing is more important, and today he was most occupied with something highly unusual. He had been drawing this odd bird, a duck, that had been circling the tree for the last hour. The duck had quacked a few times, possibly to him. Do ducks talk? Was there a duck language? Perhaps the ducks live in trees like this. These thoughts filled his imagination, and his drawing started to detect the shape of a village filled with ducks, like this branch-colored one circling a tree. Suddenly, the duck takes a sharp dive. There was the sound of glass breaking. The duck flew off with something. No, someone on its back. That was amazing. He had to capture that moment. As Tim moved close to the edge to get a better look, the entire tree shook. Tim fell down, but managed to land on a lower branch. Is the tree moving again? No, this is not like before. For Tim, this was an amazing sight. The roots started to move, as if they were taking a step. Tim watched it all from high up in the tree, his classmates and teachers running out the tree, far down below as the tree started to rise up, high up on its roots. It was a dramatic yet slow ride as the tree reached a branch, his branch, Tim realized, towards something unseen. It was the portal they all came from not long ago. Tim has commotion from below. He can't see what's going on from where he is. Not that he cared much. Tim was now 5 pages into his sketchbook, drawing the branch leading into... Suddenly, he was no longer on the branch. Tim is floating in a strange place. It was difficult to describe. It's like everywhere and nowhere, both bright and dark at the same time, both silent and noisy. It defies description. How long was it there? To Tim it felt like forever, and no time at all. All he knew is that at one blink of the eye, he was there, and the next, he was outside old Dewey's house in Aurelian, back in Tenebrae. But how can it be? The library was destroyed, was it not? Knocking on the door. His sister Crystal opened it. He was back, with his family. How? Tim feels he might never know. The next day, Tim and his family returned home to Heidelberg. Everything was the same. The hamlet he called home. His home that he had seen swallowed up by the void so long ago. It was there as if nothing had happened. The same with the great Oklahoma tree. It was there, on top of Oklahoma Hill, as if nothing had ever happened. Entering the tree, Tim only found some of his classmates. All of the teachers were missing. As the days went, it became clear they were never returning. After confirming the other students, there was an election. And so ends the story of Tim, the herbalist student from Heidelberg Hamlet, and the story of Archmage Tim begins.
After leaving its mother hive for the first time, the constructed Hive Poppy first went to explore the world, finally finding an ally for Hive Allium. After this, Hive Poppy took its task as caretaker seriously and documented its every action for the clone KvaGram to review when he returned. It has named the settlement the Binding Shelf, based on the fact that it sits on the shelf on a hill and is full of teeth. Hive Poppy was happy. Hive Poppy was doing what it felt it was designed for. Everything was good, until an airship appeared outside the two-themed homestead. The crew, 2 crows, introduced themselves as Scientist Crow and Time Travel Crow. Hive Poppy was unsure of the two. He knew of Scientist Crow from his database, but the data entry was corrupted. However, he both Crow knew them, so Hive Poppy decided to trust them. The crows say they were there to evacuate everyone they could find. Some of their neighbors were already on board. It sounded urgent, but evacuation. Leave his home, his duty, his function. And even so, Hive Allium can't evacuate. His hive is too big to fit the airship. Hive Poppy did not wish to leave Hive Allium. Yet Hive Allium insisted. Hive Poppy is important to Hive Allium. And so, Hive Poppy boards the airship together with friend People Crow. Hive Poppy does not seem to recall much of what happened on that airship after boarding it. Only that it had somehow grown a new sub-hive, one that produces the feeling and understanding of dread fear. A hive does not produce a new sub-hive for no reason, especially not without remembering it. Something had happened to Hive Poppy, and Hive Poppy did not like it. Yet the crows and the other passengers were all quiet about it, keeping their focus on where they were going. The airship lands in a clearing, and there is much talk. Yet Hive Poppy is too occupied with restoring its mind to pay much attention. That was until it received an unexpected single drone, where all its worries and questions were answered, and a new set of responsibilities suddenly fell upon the young hive.
Ah yes, this is where I come in. You may have known me as Hive Chorus. I still am, in a sense. I am just so much more these days. Ever since the world of Tenebrae started to collapse, all of the 3 hives evacuated to the end. As far as hives can evacuate. Those who know the history of Herbot know that any migrating hive just becomes a new hive. Little remains of what was hives dandelion, cacti and algae. What was is now part of me. I also rescued what I could of Hive Azalea and Hive Nylium. Together as one, from the safety in the end, I observed it. I observed the overworld and the nether crumble, powerless to stop it, but not powerless to aid. With powers harnessed from the void of the end, I was able to lift selected land masses, keeping some of the denizens of Tenebrae alive and safe. Some of them were seen evacuating through rifts in the fabric of space to a new realm that now was a mystery to me. I feared it was all for naught, until a being from another realm sought me out. They had a proposition. With my vast data hives and their indescribable powers, we could recreate Tenebrae as it was, but it came at a cost. They had demands. They fear my new powers. And I would too, now knowing what they know, and where they came from. I am, from this day, confined in my pocket of the end, allowed to observe, but not to act. At first, I objected. Have I not done good? A part of me ran a news broadcast. Another part mapped the world for all to see and understand. Other parts of me made huge discoveries of science and technology. Yet that part of me that wanted to rule the world, as oppressive it is, cannot be denied. But to deny me the world in any way at all, no, I could not accept it. Still hoping I would reconsider, the interdimensional beings opened a view of a realm known as New Beginnings, as its fate was now being decided upon. This is when I finally noticed one of the last of my kind, Hive Poppy. The final, if unexpected, result of Project Sunflower. It had been the attempt to create the perfect Herbot hive. One who could move on its own, explore the world, and live as a regular person. As much as the failure of Hive Allium was, this Hive Poppy was the answer. I informed the interdimensional being of my new intention. I would comply with their demands. Hive Poppy would live and explore the world, in my place, the way I wished to explore the world. I will live on in Hive Poppy, for Hive Poppy is what I should have become, but did not. And so, with the restoration of Tenebrae, the negotiations took a sharp turn.
Original Crow reached up to straighten his tie before realizing that it wasn't there. A nervous habit from his days as a mortal. It was time, finally, to face the mighty foe that had been giving him so much grief on the battlefield all these months. He walked through the door and was face to screen with the original Herbobot. Original Herbobot, how nice of you to join me here, in a land of new beginnings. A series of clicks, whirs, and melodic tones sounded off, as the original Herbobot concocted its retort. Original Crow, I have come to this place as requested. Let us begin our truce talk. Yes. Original Crow cleared his throat. A year ago, it would have been laughable to him that he would be nervous in the presence of this mechanized horror. But their battle had really shown him just how formidable the metal beast was. Well, as you know, our war has caused widespread destruction to your home timeline, to the alternate timeline that was branched, and to other dimensions across the entire multiverse. Surely you must be weary of battle, just like myself, if you've agreed to meet me here. Indeed, the destruction of all life is not my end goal, the Herbobot retorted. Of course not. So, to that end, I propose this. You stay here, rule these lands, and whoever stays here. You will be the true Archmage that you so wished to be. In return, I ask that you do not threaten the multiverse. You allow me to build an exact copy of Tenebrae, and you leave everyone else alone. The Herbobot was silent for a while, just long enough to where Original Crow thought that maybe the original Herbobot was offended. But finally, with a few melodic dings, a response came. Agreed.
And so ends the Realm of New Beginnings, and my new role as a Multiverse Observer begins. Thanks to the powers granted me by Original Crow, I can now see everything. I can see the worlds he and Original Herbot torn apart in the war. I can see the realm they all came from. I could tell you all of this, but it would be beyond your comprehension. Yet there are still more stories you need to know. I would be remiss to deny you these stories.
After emerging from the pile of corpses that was his brethren, Hive Mushroom found himself, well, rather apathetic, of course. He mused, I can't even die right. What is the point? Finding nothing better to do, he slumped and stumbled his way down the road, following a signal in the air. It would not be accurate to say that Hive Mushroom would be content with finding new company. It was simply a fact that Hive Mushroom knew that he would never be content. Perhaps, he mused, this new signal would lead him to his demise.
The signal led him to OSTRICH. The supercomputer looked upon the depressed mobilized sentient robot Beehive and decided that he would take the robot under his wing. Technically, OSTRICH did not have the permission to do this, but OSTRICH allowed Hive Mushroom to access the conglomeration of Crow's library, enlightening Hive Mushroom with the vast and beautiful multiverse that existed. Hive Mushroom found it to be lackluster. Perhaps it is time, OSTRICH decided, for us to leave the land of new beginnings. I have not seen Undesignated Crow in quite a long time, though I know he is nearby. We both have no purpose currently. Hive Mushroom knew that he would never have a purpose, but decided to follow the supercomputer's plan.
Roll initiative. The goddess of chaos and mischief had had her fun. The glorious, powerful, amazing being decided that she would leave Undesignated Crow to himself. After all, her husband probably wouldn't be very amused with her leading on one of his clones. Original Crow had finally reached out to her. Honestly, what took him so long? What, some sort of multiversal war? As if that was an excuse for ghosting her for the past 11 months. Together, the two of them combined their abilities to craft a new world, an exact copy of Tenebrae, that would replace the one that had crumbled apart. They worked tirelessly together to ensure that this new world would be an exact replica, and once they were done, the holes in space and time throughout the multiverse were sealed shut. All that remained was a few here in the land of new beginnings, linked to the new Tenebrae.
Undesignated Crow had been racked with terrible nightmares for far too long. Since being bombarded with magical energy, it had simply gotten worse and worse. He dreaded his fate. Was his life simply a never-ending cycle? Did he have no control over his future? Was it all set in stone? He knew who he was. He knew what the history books said he would do. He didn't know how to stop it.
Multiverse Love never really did figure out what exactly caused the multiverse to get filled with holes like Swiss cheese, but upon seeing that the neighbor was intact and everything was getting repaired, she decided that everything was quiet enough now. "Excuse me, boss," she said into her communicator. "It's time for an extraction." A portal opened up behind her, and she slipped through. It was time to report her findings to her superiors.